Welcome back to the deep dive.
And today we are tackling something pretty extraordinary.
We're taking on a single viral narrative, you've probably seen it floating around, that claims to expose these just incredible historical secrets about the most famous artifact in the world.
The death mask of King Tutankhamun.
Exactly. And what makes this so compelling and honestly so dangerous is that the video isn't just true or false, it's a mix.
It's a really complex tapestry. There are verifiable facts woven together with some pretty dangerous pseudoscience. So we've had to just excavate every single layer of the claim.
And for this, our source stack is unusually diverse. We've got everything from leaked disciplinary reports from the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities,
All the way to modern Egyptological papers from scholars like Nicholas Reeves, and even like detailed specs for medical physics equipment.
our whole goal here is to help you untangle this knot so you can spot the formula for yourself.
We call it the mystery sandwich.
I love that.
What is it? It's a delicious, satisfying, and totally verifiable filling of truth, but it's wrapped in this, dangerous and misleading crust.
Okay, so let's lay out the three main pillars of this thing we're deconstructing today. Where do we start?
First, we have to tackle the modern crime.
Yeah.
This is the embarrassing 100% verified truth of how King Tut's mask was broken in 2014.
Okay, and then from there.
We go back in time to the ancient crime. This is the highly probable academic theory that the mask wasn't even made for Tutankhamun,
Wait, seriously?
that it was stolen and repurposed from his predecessor, Queen Nefertiti.
Wow. Okay, and the third pillar?
And this is the payload, the quantum lie.
Yeah.
This is how the video takes all that credibility it built and pivots to sell you on a completely fake, medically useless technology.
Quantum resonance imaging.
Exactly. Like a wild journey. And we have to start with the single most humiliating, absolutely indisputably true part of this whole story.
So let's set the scene. It's August 2014. We're in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
And you have to picture this place. It's not some, sleek, modern, climate-controlled museum.
It's vast, it's cavernous, it's dusty.
It's beautiful, but it's more like a Victorian warehouse for the greatest treasures on Earth. You can feel the weight of history in the air.
And the most recognizable piece in that entire collection, maybe the most famous object on the planet, is Tutankhamun's death mask.
24 pounds of solid gold, inlaid with lapis lazuli, quartz, obsidian. It sits there seemingly immune to time.
Or, human folly.
Exactly. Because on one hot August evening, that stillness was just shattered.
And the official reports confirm it happened during routine maintenance.
It sounds so mundane, it's almost absurd. They were trying to change a malfunctioning light bulb inside the display case.
A light bulb for an artifact worth, it's literally priceless.
It is the ultimate collision of human error and priceless history. And to get the catastrophe, you have to understand a little bit about how the mask was built.
Okay.
The braided beard, the ceremonial one that symbolizes the god Osiris.
Right, for eternal kingship.
It was never a solid piece with the chin. It was attached with a really clever pin and sleeve mechanism. So it was detachable.
And after 3,300 years, that fit had, I'm guessing, loosened up a bit.
A lot. The last big conservation work on it was done by Howard Carter's team back in 1925.
A century ago.
Almost.
Yeah.
So as the curators carefully, or maybe not so carefully, lifted this massive mask to get to the light bulb, the inevitable happened.
What did it sound like?
The testimonies describe a sharp, sickening snap. The sound of ancient gold just yielding to gravity in a loose pin, the beard detached.
Oh my God, it came off in their hands.
Right in their hands.
Okay, so in a normal museum, the Louvre, what's the protocol here? This has to be like a code yellow situation.
It is. It's serious, but it's totally manageable. The protocol is ironclad, stop everything, document it with photos, secure the piece, and call the chief conservator immediately.
And the repair would be done with reversible materials.
Only reversible materials. We're talking conservation-grade beeswax or, specific resins that dissolve easily without leaving a trace. The number one rule is always reversibility.
If you can undo it in 100 years, it's not a repair.
It's a risk. But the staff in Cairo did not follow protocol.
And you have to remember the context. This was post-revolutionary Egypt. Things were unstable.
Extremely. The staff were gripped by just sheer terror, fear of losing their jobs, being prosecuted. So they made a decision.
A cover-up.
An immediate, clumsy cover-up. They decided to fix it right there, right then, before the morning crowds arrived.
And that panic-driven decision led them to the worst possible choice of adhesive.
The absolute worst. Something completely insane for 3,000-year-old gold, industrial-grade epoxy resin.
Ugh. Okay, for those of us who aren't chemists, what is epoxy? Why is that so bad?
It's a thermosetting polymer. You have a resin and a hardener. You mix them, and a chemical reaction starts that creates these dense, permanent, cross-linked molecular chains.
So it doesn't just dry, it cures.
Yeah.
It locks itself into place chemically.
Exactly. And it's designed to be permanent and, most importantly, insoluble. It resists water, alcohol, all the solvents a conservator relies on.
This is stuff you use for gluing metal to concrete, repairing an engine block.
Yes, applying that to pure, soft, ancient gold is, and the reports use this exact phrase, an act of vandalism.
It's an irreversible chemical commitment.
And in their panic, they used way too much.
Of course they did.
The viscous yellow goo didn't just stay in the joint. It squeezed out and formed this thick, messy, visible ring between the beard and the chin.
So now they have a second problem.
Now they're panicking again. They know it's going to be obvious. So in a desperate attempt to hide the evidence of their first mistake,
They made another one.
they grabbed whatever sharp metal tools were nearby, spatulas, scalpels, and tried to scrape the hardening glue away.
On gold. But 24-karat gold is incredibly soft. You can scratch it with a fingernail.
I know, the gold of the mask had absolutely no chance against steel.
So they gouged it.
They gouged the surface. They left deep, visible scratches, permanent scars on the pharaoh's chin.
The first physical trauma to that object in over 3,000 years.
All because they tried to change a light bulb and then panicked.
And was this visible to the public?
For months, the epoxy had a different refractive index, so it reflected light differently than the gold. And it started to yellow under the display lights. You could see this crusty residue if you look closely.
So how did the story finally break?
It took until January 2015, months later, when high-resolution photos leaked online. The press, rightly, went insane.
And the Ministry of Antiquities.
They denied it at first, of course, claimed nothing serious happened, but the photographic evidence was just. It was irrefutable. They had to launch an investigation.
And bring in outside help.
They brought in a German conservator, Christian Ekman, a specialist in metal, and his assessment confirmed the horror. Inappropriate adhesive.
So how do you fix something like that? If it's insoluble, you can't use chemicals.
You can't. It wasn't conservation, it was surgical extraction. They had to rely entirely on mechanical removal.
So they had to pick it off.
They had to heat the mask very, very carefully. Just enough to soften the epoxy, but not hot enough to melt the gold or crack the hundreds of inlaid stones.
That sounds terrifyingly delicate.
And then the agonizing part. They had to pick the resin off, millimeter by millimeter, and for the final, most delicate scraping, you know what tool they used?
I'm afraid to ask.
Wooden sticks.
Wooden sticks? Why?
It's actually brilliant. Wood is softer than gold.
Oh, of course. So if the stick slipped, it would damage the stick, not the artifact.
Precisely. It took them 2 months of agonizing full-time labor to undo a 2-minute act of panic.
Wow. And the staff involved were prosecuted, right?
For gross negligence, yes. So the verdict on this first part of the viral video, the hook.
It's 100% true.
100%. And that factual anchor is what makes you trust everything else the video is about to tell you.
Okay, so that verified modern tragedy brings us to the second pillar of the story. The video pivots from modern incompetence to this deep historical mystery.
And it's a shocking claim. That Tutankhamun's mask, the very face of ancient Egypt, wasn't originally made for him at all.
That it was effectively stolen from the burial goods of Queen Nefertiti.
And on the surface, that sounds like pure fringe speculation, right? Just a claim designed for clicks.
Totally. But you're saying it's not.
This is the critical part. This is not some internet rumor. This is the dominant, leading hypothesis in modern Egyptology.
Championed by who?
By highly respected scholars, most notably Nicholas Reeves and Joanne Fletcher. It's a serious academic theory.
That is an astonishing endorsement. So, okay, to understand why this would even happen, we need some context. What was going on in the 18th dynasty?
It was the most chaotic period of the New Kingdom. You have Tutankhamun's father, Akhenaten, the heretic king.
The one who abolished all the old gods, Amun, Osiris, all of them, to worship a single sun disk, the Aten.
A massive religious revolution. It just shook the foundations of their entire society. So when Akhenaten died, the next regime's main goal was to erase the memory of that period and restore the old ways.
Then the succession after him is really murky.
Very. It's thought that Nefertiti, his great royal wife, actually ruled briefly as a female pharaoh.
Under the name Ankheper Neferneferuaten.
Exactly. But then she vanishes from the record. Her tomb has never been found. And the young boy, Tutankhamun, takes the throne.
And he changes his name to Tutankhamun to signal the return of the god Amun.
Right. But then he dies suddenly at age 19.
And that's the crucial part, isn't it? The unprepared death.
It's everything. Royal workshops would spend decades crafting a pharaoh's burial equipment. They were caught completely short.
It was a crisis. He didn't even get a proper royal tomb. He was buried in KV-62, a small tomb probably meant for a noble.
So the political urgency to bury him correctly slammed up against a total lack of materials. Their solution?
Recycle.
Systematic recycling. And the evidence that the death mask was part of that is incredibly strong. It starts with clue number 1, the ears.
The ears. Okay, I've looked at the mask a million times. I've never noticed the ears. What's wrong with them?
They're pierced with big open earring holes.
Okay.
In ancient Egyptian art, who wore earrings.
Women and children.
Right. Adult male pharaohs, especially when depicted as the eternal god king on their death mask, never have pierced ears. It was an iconographic rule. It symbolized divine maturity.
So for Tut's mask to have them is a massive, weird anomaly.
A huge one. It strongly suggests the mask was first made for someone who was depicted with earrings.
Yeah.
A woman or a child. Nefertiti fits the profile perfectly.
Okay, that's compelling. What's clue number 2?
The metallurgical evidence. The viral video calls it a face graft, which sounds dramatic, but it's supported by the scholarship.
A face graft. How does that work with gold?
Well, ancient Egyptian gold was usually an electroalloy. It had silver and copper mixed in. And the specific ratio of those metals creates a kind of chemical fingerprint for that batch of gold.
So you can trace where the gold came from?
Essentially, yes. And analysis shows that the gold alloy of the mask's face is chemically different from the gold of the headdress and the collar.
They don't match.
They don't match. And if you look really closely under specific lighting, you can see a faint line just below the eyes. It suggests the original face was literally cut out.
And a new one was put in.
Tutankhamun's new face was hammered into place and soldered onto the existing headpiece. It was a metallic face swap done in a hurry by the royal workshops.
Wow. Okay, pierced ears, mismatched gold. That's already a lot. What's the third clue?
This is the smoking gun, the hieroglyphic palimpsest. This is Nicholas Ries's breakthrough from 2015.
And a palimpsest is when you scrape off old text to write something new, right?
Exactly. He wasn't looking at the visible hieroglyphs on the back of the mask. He was looking at the faint traces of what had been erased underneath them.
So he's looking at the ghost text inside the cartouches, the royal name ovals.
Precisely. Underneath Tutankhamun's throne name, Neb-Kepperer, he found definitive faint traces of the carving that had been smoothed over.
And when he reconstructed it, what did it say?
It spelled the full throne name, Queen Nefertiti,
Which is?
the name believed to have been used by Queen Nefertiti when she ruled as pharaoh.
You are kidding me. Her name was physically carved into the mask and then scraped out?
And replaced with Tut's. It gets even more specific, too. The erased text also included an epithet, Mary Neferkepper, which means beloved of Akhenaten.
A title used only by Nefertiti.
Exclusively by her.
The evidence is just overwhelming then.
When you combine the physical anomalies, the ears, the alloy, with the epigraphic evidence of the erased name, the implication is staggering.
In the rush to bury Tutankhamun and erase the memory of the heretic queen, they just looted her burial equipment. The mask is stolen goods.
And it likely wasn't just the mask. Scholars think it extended to the canopic coffinettes, the little coffins for his organs, maybe even the sarcophagus itself.
So the verdict on the second pillar, the ancient crime.
It's not just a theory, it's the leading academic explanation. We rate this claim as highly probable. I'd say 85% confidence.
Okay, so now the video is 2 for 2. It's established massive credibility with a verified modern truth and a highly probable ancient one.
Exactly. And now we get to the middle of the mystery sandwich. This is where the narrative shifts from verifiable archaeology to modern scanning technology.
And this is where it sets up the profitable lie.
It needs a modern link between scanning hidden secrets and, the rejection of establishment science. And for that, it uses a perfectly legitimate project as an anchor.
The Scan Pyramids project.
From 2015 to 2017, a completely above-board, highly rigorous, international scientific effort.
Okay, so let's ground ourselves in the real science first. What were they doing?
They were using a technique called muon radiography.
Muons. What are muons?
They're unstable subatomic particles. Think of them as a heavier cousin of the electron. They're created when cosmic rays from space hit our atmosphere, and they're constantly showering the planet.
So they're hitting the pyramids all the time.
Constantly. And they have enough energy to pass through dense material like rock. But the thicker the rock, the fewer muons get through to a detector on the other side.
So you're basically measuring the shadow cast by the stone.
A perfect way to put it. If the detectors suddenly register more muons in one spot, it means they pass through less stone.
Meaning there's a gap, a void, an empty chamber.
Exactly. It's like a cosmic ray X-ray. And it led to a spectacular, verified discovery in 2017.
The big void.
A previously unknown cavity, at least 30 meters long, high above the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid of Khufu. 100% real, verified by physics.
Okay, so here's where the viral video makes its move. It links this huge success to Tutankhamun.
Right. Nicholas Reeves, same scholar from the mask theory, hypothesized that if the mask was Nefertiti's, maybe her tomb is hidden behind a wall in Tut's chamber.
So the video implies if muon scans found a secret in one pyramid, they must have found Nefertiti's tomb in the other one.
And that's the critical, deceptive transition. It uses the real success of one project to lend false weight to another. The truth about scanning Tut's tomb is way messier.
Right. There were 3 different scans of that wall.
3. The first one in 2015 did suggest some anomalies, which got everyone really excited.
But the next 2.
A 2016 scan by National Geographic found nothing, and then a final super rigorous scan in 2018 by an Italian team concluded definitively there was no evidence of any hidden chambers.
So while the big void is real, the hidden Nefertiti chamber is still just a romantic, unproven hypothesis.
Exactly. Confidence level today is maybe 20%, but the video only focuses on that first promising scan.
And now we arrive at the payload, the dangerous lie. The video pivots from real high-level physics to something called quantum resonance imaging.
Implying it's a pure technology. Another secret the establishment is hiding from you.
And the language is the first giveaway, isn't it? Quantum resonance is deliberately designed to sound like
Magnetic resonance imaging, an MRI, a real established medical technology.
So let's establish the real science so the contrast is totally stark. How does a real MRI machine work?
An MRI works on nuclear magnetic resonance. You're in this massive magnetic field which aligns the protons in the hydrogen atoms of your body's water.
Like tiny compass needles all pointing the same way.
Exactly. Then the machine sends a radio frequency pulse that knocks them out of alignment. When the pulse stops, the protons relax back into place,
And as they relax, they give off a tiny radio signal.
which the machine detects. And different tissues, fat, bone, muscle relax at different rates. The machine maps those signals to create an incredibly detailed image of your organs. It's pure quantifiable physics.
Okay, so now contrast that with quantum resonance imaging. What do they claim it does?
They claim it measures the weak magnetic fields of human cells or the vibrational frequency of your organs.
It's a word salad of sciencey terms.
A total word salad. They throw in words like entanglement, superposition, biofeedback, consciousness field, complex concepts from quantum mechanics that have absolutely no clinical application here.
They're just hijacking the words.
And they're hijacking the observer effect from quantum mechanics to claim that your consciousness can change your physical reality, that positive thinking can shrink a tumor, which is a gross, deliberate misinterpretation of the science.
But ultimately, they're not selling a theory, they're selling a product, a device. The quantum resonance magnetic analyzer. What is it, actually?
We looked into it. It's fundamentally a galvanic skin response, GSR meter.
Like a lie detector.
Exactly like a lie detector. You hold a metal rod, and it measures one single thing, the electrical resistance of your skin.
Which changes based on how sweaty your palm is.
Right. It's measuring your stress level. But here's the scam. The device measures one variable, sweat, and the software generates this incredibly complex, specific report.
Listing what?
Precise deficiency levels for dozens of vitamins, detailed functional reports on your liver, your pancreas, even specific diseases.
Which is physically impossible. You can't get your vitamin D level from how sweaty your hand is.
You absolutely cannot. The results are often just random or pre-programmed based on your age and weight to sell you supplements.
And there's a regulatory smoking gun here, isn't there?
A huge one. They carefully trademark and market these things as monitoring devices for non-medical purposes.
Why is that phrase so important?
Because it lets them completely bypass the rigorous clinical trials required for real medical devices by the FDA or the EMA. If they claimed it could diagnose a disease, they'd have to prove it.
But by calling it a lifestyle gadget, they avoid all scrutiny.
Exactly. We also looked at the academic papers they cite. They're full of admissions of failure disguised as philosophy. They'll say things like, conventional clinical trial designs often prove inadequate.
Which is science speak for.
We can't prove it works in a controlled double-blind study. If it can't be proven against a placebo, it is a placebo.
So, the verdict on quantum resonance imaging.
False. 0% confidence. It is a marketing term used to sell GSR meters.
Okay, so now that we've separated the fact from the fiction, why is this blend so successful? Why does this work so well online?
Because it's not a documentary that gets some facts wrong. It is a meticulously engineered information product designed for the algorithmic economy.
The titles, the keywords, King Tut, Secret, Scam, Quantum, they're all optimized for clicks and engagement.
The whole goal is to evoke emotion and create curiosity. And to do that, it uses what we call the mystery sandwich formula, or the Trojan horse formula.
Okay, break down the 3 layers of the Trojan horse for us.
First, you have the hook, which is the verifiable truth. The museum broke the mask with epoxy and lied about it.
And that immediately builds trust. It validates your skepticism of authority. You think, if they lied about that, what else are they lying about?
Exactly. Then comes the twist, the academic sounding theory. The mask wasn't even his, it was stolen from Nefertiti.
Which rewards you with this feeling of sophisticated insider knowledge.
So now you've been rewarded twice. You trust the narrator completely. And that's when they deliver the payload, the lie.
Just like they lied about the gold mask, they're lying about medicine. Reject MRIs and embrace quantum resonance.
It's a fallacious emotional leap. The video uses the high, verifiable credibility of archaeology to launder the reputation of a 0% verifiable pseudoscience.
Okay, so let's synthesize this with our veracity matrix one last time. Claim 1. The mask was broken with epoxy.
True. 100% confidence. The museum reports prove it.
Claim 2. The mask was stolen from Nefertiti.
Highly probable. 85% confidence. The leading academic theory.
Claim 3. Legitimate scans found the big void in the Great Pyramid.
True. 100% confidence. Verifiable physics.
Claim 4. A hidden chamber with Nefertiti's tomb exists in Tut's tomb.
Unlikely. 20% confidence. Contradicted by later scans.
And finally, Claim 5. Quantum resonance is a valid medical tool.
False. 0% confidence. It's a GSR meter. A scam.
The final judgment is clear then. It's a hybrid information product.
High-quality historical drama blended with dangerous medical misinformation. The true story of the clumsy curators and the stolen face is fascinating. Grade A history.
But the medical claims are a grade F. They're a marketing construct to sell unproven gadgets. Hashtag tag outro.
So this whole deep dive really gives us a crucial lesson in critical thinking. When you see content that validates your skepticism of authority, and a museum lying about breaking a priceless artifact should make you skeptical.
Right, but that skepticism doesn't automatically validate the next claim they make.
Exactly. The fact that the Ministry of Antiquities was negligent does not mean the medical establishment is hiding a cure for cancer. You have to engage the evidence for each claim on its own merits.
So the takeaway is, absorb the archaeology. The mask was broken. It was likely stolen from a queen. That is compelling, verified history.
But for goodness sake, do not buy the machine. The only thing quantum about the quantum resonance analyzer is the speed with which it separates you from your money.
And that brings us to a final provocative thought.
The discovery of the big void in the Great Pyramid, a space unseen for 4,500 years, was accomplished using established, quantifiable physics, muon radiography, using particles from deep space.
So verifiable science, using real cosmic forces, can still uncover these vast material secrets from our past.
If the most compelling mysteries of the ancient world are being solved by established, measurable physics, why do we keep seeking comfort in fabricated quantum explanations for our future health?
Why chase the mystery sandwich when the verifiable truth is always so much more rewarding? What unseen, measurable truth is still waiting out there to be found by genuine science?
We encourage you to explore the real world of cosmic ray mapping and diagnostic physics. It's far more amazing than the pseudoscience.
That's it for the deep dive.
I'll see you next time.